Okay, we are trying this again. We are trying this again. The music I had on earlier, I believe that's what caused my live video to pause. So I am going to jump right into our discussion today. As you join in, drop your name in the chat. And let me know how long you've been following me. How long have you been following me? How long have you been following me? Okay. Why do women stay in dysfunctional relationships? When they know the relationship is not right. When they know the relationship is not right. When they know the relationship is not good for them. Why do women stay in dysfunctional relationships? Why do they stay in dysfunctional relationships? Let me go ahead and share my video. Let me get rid of this. Get rid of that. Let me make sure I'm live before I get started. Where's my video? One moment. We are about to get started. As you come in, let me know who's who's in here. Okay, we are doing good. So let me go ahead and share this on my Facebook page. Share this to my Facebook page. Oh, you know what? Does this have me live on my personal page? This is interesting. This is interesting. This is interesting. It has me live. I'm supposed to be live in my Facebook group, not on my personal page. This has me live on my personal page. Very, very interesting. Not on my personal. Anyway, we are going to get started. Hey, Janetta. Hey, ma'am. How are you? I'm trying to share this to my Facebook group. Let me do that. Oh, there we go. There we go. Share that in there. Okay. Cool. Hey, Miss Janetta. Very, very interesting. This is my first time going live on my laptop. So this is pretty cool. How are you, Janetta? What's new, ma'am? What's new with you? Oh, duh. It's because who I am in my own Facebook group. Who else do we have on? Let's see, let's see, let's see. I had my song on. Janetta, you know I'm used to doing my webinars, so I had my music on, just as jamming, and Facebook kindly said, oh, they took it down. They pretty much muted me, like, not with that music in the background. I'm like, oh. So they muted my video. Let's see. Trying to refresh the comments as you all come in. We have 2 people share. We have 4 people on. Okay. Janetta says, I'm hanging on. Thank you for asking. Beautiful. Who else is on? Drop your name in the chat so I know who's tuned in today. Just because I want to be nosy and just because I want to know who's on. So why do women stay in relationships that they know is dysfunctional, that they know is toxic? Moreover, why is it so much harder to leave some relationships compared to other ones? So one thing I wanted to share as it pertains to moving on from a relationship, understand one thing that every woman should understand is that most people don't know is that some relationships, not all relationships, are hard to move on from. And one of the biggest indicators that there's some unresolved issues somewhere in your life is when you see this pattern happen over and over and over again. That means you meet a guy, you really like them, and for you, for some reason, it's just so hard for you to let go of certain relationships compared to other ones. It's like when it comes to letting go, it is so hard for you for certain relationships, right? Understand that this is not for everyone. Every woman does not go through this as it pertains to relationships, okay? There's a deeper issue when this happens. Okay, there's a deeper issues. Every woman does not take every woman 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years to let go of a toxic or dysfunctional relationship. So if it's taking you so long, I've been on my workshops and I've been doing this for years now, and I talk to women and it's been 5 years, it's been 2 years, it's been 10 years. And they're still having a hard time letting go of a relationship. So when that happens, there's something wrong there, right? There's something wrong there, right? There's some unresolved pain there. And I want to share with you 5 reasons, actually 4 reasons. 4 reasons a woman may have a hard time letting go of a relationship. Who else is on with me today? Drop your name in the chat when you come in. I want to see who else is on. Janetta says, I shared if it's okay with you. Thank you so much, Janetta. Janetta says, we stay because of low self-worth. Not so. That's it's popular on the internet. It's popular for people to say that. But that can be the issue for some women, Janetta, but not every woman, right? There's other reasons why a woman will stay in a relationship when she know it's wrong, okay? When she know it's dysfunctional, okay? There's other reasons, right? It's not always low self-worth. The internet can be really hard on women as it pertains to putting up with dysfunctional relationships, okay? They can be pretty hard, and I see this all the time. It's self-worth. You need to love yourself. You need to do this, you need to do that. That can be the issue for some women, but some women they're really confident. They do love themselves. They do love themselves. It's just some unresolved pain there that's resurfacing in certain relationships and not others, okay? And I apologize. You all can see my whole world behind me, but at least my place is clean. At least my place is clean. But anyway, let's get started. So why do women stay in unhealthy relationships, especially when they know it's toxic, it's dysfunctional? Now, the difference between a understand first, all relationship has their issues, okay? There's going to be issues in relationships. Now, the difference between a dysfunctional relationship and just a relationship with their problems is, think about, let's think about a car, okay? You buy a used car, okay? And you buy the car and they're like, hey, you know, the car, let's just say it may have something simple wrong with the car. Like maybe one of the buttons on maybe one of the windows, it's slow to go up or it's slow to go down, right? Something like that. Or maybe, what's a minor issue wrong with the car? Maybe it needs more oil changes compared to a newer car, okay? So this is a good car. It still gets me from point A and point B, right? I can drive this car without breaking down. This is a car that's not perfect, but it's getting the job done. And it's not breaking my life. It's not interfering with the daily functions of my life. However, I buy another car, used car. Now this car has things wrong with it, right? It may have I bought this car, I didn't know that one of the tires was on its way out. I bought this car, I didn't know that the engine had only about 3 miles left before I'm going to need a new engine, right? So one car is a car that doesn't interfere with my basic daily life, right? It doesn't interfere with that. I can keep going on at a healthy state with this car. But the other car that's dysfunctional, now this car interferes with the daily functions of my life. So the difference between a relationship that just isn't perfect and a relationship that's dysfunctional is a dysfunctional relationship. It interferes with your daily, everyday life habits, okay? You're not getting sleep, okay? You're always anxious, right? You're always on edge trying to, always on edge on, what's going on or what's about to happen, or is he going to call back as he said he was going to call back, or did he lie about where he said he was at? This relationship you cannot function at your greatest capacity in this relationship. This relationship interferes with your daily life function. That's a dysfunctional relationship. That's a dysfunctional relationship. Not unhealthy, but a relationship that just has its problems, it just has its problems. It comes up and it goes away. You deal with it, you communicate, you all go through it, you move on. Okay, it may come up again a year or two later. You deal with it, you go away with it, right? But a relationship that's dysfunctional is a relationship that affects you in a way where you are not functioning in a healthy way. You're crying all the time. Your kids see you guys fighting all the time. That's a relationship that's dysfunctional, okay? Dysfunctional. So, why do women stay in relationships when they know it's not right for them? Number one, I'm going to share a little bit about my story just so I can relate a lot better, because I can relate. The one thing about me is that I can relate to a lot of the stories. You guys are always emailing me, always commenting. I can relate a lot with your stories. So I have compassion when you all email me and share some of the stories you're having. One, because I know how it feels, and two, because I know what's on the other side. So when I hear some of you ladies, like the process, every once in a while I get a flashback like, oh, I remember that time. They're going in this direction. God is about to really show up in their lives, okay? So it brings me joy sometimes when I hear some of your responses, and also some, it pulls at my heart, and I'm just like, please, just leave, just leave, just leave. Just leave. So anyway, let's get to our regular scheduled program. Why do women stay in relationships that they know they're toxic with them? Number one, the relationship is filling a void in your life, okay? The relationship is filling a void in your life. Whether it's attention, one of the common reasons is it's filling a void, attention, okay? Attraction, okay? Intimacy, okay? These are the three top things of why a woman will stay in a relationship. It's because it's filling a void. Those three voids: attention, intimacy, attraction. Okay. So when I think about my past relationship, a guy that I was with, he was filling a void. And it was attention, intimacy, and attraction. Okay. He made me feel valuable. Okay. As a woman, I felt valuable. Okay. He made me feel beautiful. Beautiful. Like I mattered. Okay. Drop a yes in the chat if you can relate to this. He made me feel beautiful. Like I mattered. Okay. Now my family was all over the place, still is all over the place. My family was all over the place. I had some friends, but not all of my friends were able to relate to me on an intimate level. But when I talked to him, he was able to relate to me on an intimate level. Okay. So I was able to share things with him about my life that I didn't share with anyone else. Right. So I didn't have that confidant in my life, and he filled that void for me, right? He listened to me. Many of you don't have people in your life who really sit down and listen to the intimate details about you and really are listening, okay? Not people that are, listening just to respond, but people that are really, really listening to you, okay? And you need that person in your life outside of an intimate relationship, or else that's how this codependency happens, right? Where a man in your life can become, you are my everything. Now I know the R&B songs, they tell us about, all our R&B songs, it's really been getting us wrapped up in a dysfunctional cycle. A man should not be your everything. He should not be your everything. He should not be your everything. What's another popular word? I forgot the other popular slogan as it pertains to relationships. You mean the world to me. What is this? We say a lot of things and we quote a lot of things and post a lot of things, but from a love coach, a life coach, and I know even some counselors, when they see these posts, they're like, whoa, wait a minute. That is not healthy. That is not healthy. Okay? One thing about what I see happening is dysfunctional becomes the way we function when it's all we know. When it's all we know. So ladies, be careful with some of the quotes, some of the things you're reading on Facebook and Instagram. Not everything just because it's posted doesn't mean that it's healthy. Okay. There's a lot of things that's posted that is just so unhealthy. A man should not be your everything, because if something happens to him, you're going to lose yourself. Your everything should not revolve around a man, a human being. As a believer, our everything should be God. Our everything should be God, not a man. This man is infallible, right? Not even infallible, he's fallible, right? That means that he has flaws. Things may happen to him. No wonder when this relationship ends, women feel like they're losing, that they lost themselves. You did lose yourself because he was your everything. Okay? It should not be that way. Okay? Number 2, why do women stay in relationships when they know it's dysfunctional? Number 1 was he was filling a void. Whether it was intimacy, it was attention, it was attraction, right? You didn't feel more beautiful outside of the relationship. You felt okay, but in the relationship, you just felt beautiful. You felt like you mattered because you got a man, right? The world convinces women, especially as we hit to our mid-20s and our late 30s, that if they're not in a relationship, it's almost like you lose worth. You're not as important if you're not in a relationship, if you're not married, if you don't have children. Right? So we're always on the hunt for that next relationship just so that we look good and we feel complete. Okay? You can be complete outside of a relationship. You can be complete outside of a relationship. Your life does not start or end with the relationship. Okay? A relationship is one of those things, it's good to have. It should add to your happiness. It should be an addition to your happiness, your joy, your peace, your confidence. It should not be the primary responsibility for my joy, for my peace, for my love, for my confidence. These are personal things that I need to get right with myself, right? Right? Let me check out some of the comments in here. Janetta start laughing. Hey, Janetta. Hey, Taprio. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So let's keep going. Number 2. He triggered a trauma response or a trauma bond. He triggered a trauma response or a trauma bond. Now, in my world, in the behavioral science, they call this a trauma bond and a trauma response. In my world, in the believer's world, all this is a familiar spirit. And I'm not going to go into details about a familiar spirit, but all this is a familiar spirit. And what the familiar spirit is, it's a spirit that's been in your family and your bloodline for years, right? It's a spirit that monitors, right, you, right? And what happens is it knows you. So it'll bring people, men, into your life that relates to those toxic areas in your life. So you feel like you have this chemistry with this person. This person just understands you. This person relates so well with you, right? Not all the time is this a healthy connection. I'm noticing that a lot of times these are unhealthy connections, especially when the connection is all based on your past, right? If this person that comes in your life, this is outside of intimate relationships as well. This person comes into your life and we only relate on a past, on the past, the things I've done in my past, but we don't have much in where I'm going, right? If you should know where you're going, you know your purpose, you have a vision of where you're going. If this person only relates to where I was and where I am right now, and they don't relate at all to where God is taking me, this is a person who may not be good for you in this season of your life. Right? And many times a lot of those similarities is based on the past. So in my relationship, we had a lot of similarities. We related a lot on our past. I'm talking about toxic ways, like growing up impoverished, and some of the things we talked about, it was just like we understood each other. I'm talking about like, I remember we used to talk about walking in the house and, when I grew up impoverished. I grew up rough. Okay. So we were talking about, when you walk into your kitchen, when it's dark, you walk into your kitchen, you haven't been in the kitchen for like a few hours, you walk in the kitchen, the lights are off, you turn the light on. When you grew up poor, you wait a little bit because you know that if you walk in a little bit too soon, you're going to be surprised with some visitors, right? So you got to pause a little bit. So little stuff like that. It was cute and everything, but where God was taking me, there was no similarities there. Little to no similarities there. So he triggered a trauma response or a trauma bond from you, a familiar spirit. Okay. So we related in toxic ways. Okay. Now, one thing he used to do is he was a man who made promises that he couldn't keep. And how this related to my toxic past, what trauma it triggered was trauma from my childhood, okay? So he made promises all the time that he could not keep. Just like my grandma and my mom made promises that they couldn't keep, okay? Promises that would make me happy, okay? Happy in the beginning. I would be really holding on to these promises, really holding on to these things, believing that they're going to come true, okay? Because I knew, like, from my family, my mother and my mom, I knew that they really wanted better. Well, I thought they really wanted better, right? But they had a stronghold in their lives, whether it was drugs or alcohol, that prevented them from fulfilling those promises, okay? So that was blocking them from fulfilling those promises. So I was able to see past that. I was able to see past the dysfunction. And I believe that they were going to fulfill their promises, even though they've let me down many times before. I was holding on to the possibility that they will come through this time. Okay. So in a relationship with him, I was doing the same thing. He triggered a trauma response, okay, in my life. Right? This was a familiar spirit. Okay. So I was able to see past that. I could always see the good in people, even when they didn't see it in themselves. Okay. So for the guy, my ex, it seemed that he wanted to do better, but there was a blockage there. There was a blockage. Okay. And with him, it was trust and money. This was a man that was emotionally unavailable. And many of you ladies who are in my email community, I share a lot about emotionally unavailable men and women. And the thing is, when it comes to emotionally unavailable men, is being with this man can also trigger you to become an emotional unavailable woman. And there's some situations where an emotional unavailable man will find himself, well, not even, that's an emotional unavailable woman, will often find herself relating better with emotionally unavailable men. So for women, this comes up as women choosing men that she knows she is not going to ever be able to connect with on that intimate level. She subconsciously chooses men that are no good. Right? Because it prevents her from being vulnerable. It prevents her from showing her emotions. It prevents her from really connecting with the man. Right? So we can be wired a little different. Right? We make decisions a little different. Okay? Especially when you've had a dysfunctional childhood, when you grew up in maybe mom wasn't available all the time. Maybe dad was unavailable all the time. And understand, this is not just emotionally, right? This can be physically as well. They were always working, right? Or maybe they were always there, but they were an alcoholic. They were drug addicts. Or maybe they were always there, but mom was always having issues with dad, always fighting with dad, always in the mood because of what dad was doing or that sort of thing. So she didn't give you the attention that you needed, okay? So anyway, we can be wired to naturally want emotionally unavailable men because they prevent us from being vulnerable with ourselves, being vulnerable with men, okay? We have this guard up, right? Where we choose men, we're more comfortable with men that allows us to not be vulnerable, to allow us to stay in control, right? I can stay in control in this relationship, okay? So, where was that? Okay, so with him, it seemed he wanted to do better, but there was a blockage. It was trust and money. And in my mind, this was my mind, how I was thinking. If only I could have convinced him that he could trust me. I needed to convince this man that he could trust me. If you've ever been in a relationship like this before, if you've experienced this before, drop this in the chat. Hey, Dion, how'd you get it? Why is it men on this chat? Hey, Dion. But yes. Janetta says, my dad made promises he could have keep. Like he's coming home but never did. Yes, Janetta. Yes. Right? Okay, let's keep going. So, where was I at? There we go. It was trust and money, okay? If only I could have convinced him that he could trust me. If only I could change his mindset to believe me, then things would work out, okay? Then we would be in love and things would be okay, okay? Understand that when it comes to a relationship, when it comes to a person you're with, you can help them, but you cannot be them. Okay, you can help them, but you cannot be them. Okay, so you can help them, but you cannot carry them. What does this mean? Okay, meaning that the man has to already be trying, putting in a legitimate effort into changing or doing the things that he needs to do so that this relationship can work. Okay, I can't change this man's mind about trusting me. He has to be putting in the effort to want to trust me. I can't make him trust me. I can't make him value me over the money that he valued, right? He cared a lot about money and said he didn't want to be, in a relationship because in the past, what did he say? I can't remember. I think he was saying a woman could distract him from his money. So he was emotionally unavailable, right? So I couldn't make him value a relationship over money when he's already got his mind made up of what he thinks is important. Why do we believe that we can change a man? Why do we believe that? There's nothing you can do to change a person if they do not want to change. Granted, we can help a person change if they already are going in that direction, right? They have to already be going in that direction. They already have their mind made up that this is what they want. I can help you, right? But I cannot carry you. I cannot make you want this for yourself. I can't do that. But this is what I see. And a lot of the women that I'm coaching, who's emailing me, deep down, they believe, if only this man would change for me. I thought I had what it took for him to change for me. I thought I had it took for him to change for me. Right? So maybe he was a cheater. He was a liar. Somewhere you believe that you could have changed that so that he wouldn't lie, so that he wouldn't cheat. But you couldn't. But there's some women that are in relationships now 10 years, 20 years, still waiting for a man to change for them, still waiting for him to choose her over another woman, still waiting for him to marry her over another woman, still waiting for him to respect her. Right? Understand that you can help a person, but you cannot carry them. You cannot carry them. Meaning he has to already be trying. Okay? He has to be putting in a good effort, good enough where it doesn't affect me. Okay? Me to help him. In a relationship where he's trying to choose between you or another woman, why? Why do I need to wait for him to decide between me and another woman? He can decide that with us just being friends. Especially if we've already communicated and we're communicated that we're in a relationship with each other, and now another woman pops up, and now he says, I'm not sure if I want to be with you or her. Well, let me help you with this decision. Let me help make this decision easier for you. Okay? I'm going a different direction, okay? But listen, don't ever settle for a man who's settling for you. Don't ever convince a man into valuing you. How can you convince? Why do we want to convince a person that we are valuable? How? Why? How? How can I convince you that I'm valuable? You already got your mind made up. I'm not about to convince you of my value. If you don't see it, guess what? You just may not be the person for me. I am in the wrong hands. That means my husband, you're not my husband. My destiny is tied to someone else. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so he has to already be trying, putting in a good effort, good enough where it doesn't affect me, okay, to help him. If it's affecting me, helping him, how? He was unpredictable. With this man, he was unpredictable. He was very unpredictable. Again, I said he made promises that he couldn't keep. Okay, so he was very unpredictable. How did this affect me? Okay, it affected me is because I was anxious. It triggered anxiousness out of me. It triggered unhealthy feelings, right? I was on edge with him, right? So those things were not healthy. That wasn't healthy. Then being let down when he didn't come through. Why did I stay in that relationship? Because I was hanging on to when my grandma and my mom used to make those promises. Still hanging on and wishing that they would pull through. So in that relationship with him, it triggered that old trauma response. That old trauma response where I didn't want to let go because I was still holding on to the possibility that he would change. Just like with my grandma and my mom. Every time they promised me something, I didn't let go of the possibility and the hope that they would follow through, that it would happen. So letting go of him And not trusting him would be saying no to my grandma, saying no to my mom. That's how our brain can be wired, okay? Understand that there's a direct correlation between the relationship I have with my parents, with my caregivers, and the relationship in my intimate relationships, right? I am going to relate to my partner the same way if I don't understand new ways of relating. I am going to naturally relate the same way. So it's not that you're going to choose partners like your mother, your dad, or your caregiver. You're going to choose people that make you feel the same way as your mom, your dad, or your caregiver. So in that relationship with him, he triggered those responses. So it kept me tied in that relationship. Okay. Let's keep going. So number 3, why do women stay in relationships when they know the relationship is unhealthy? Number 1 is that the relationship can be filling a void. Number 2, the relationship can be triggering a trauma bond. Okay. Number 3, women do not know themselves enough to trust when their mind is telling them that this is not good. Okay. Women do not trust themselves enough when their mind is telling them to back out. So understand this. Our mind and our emotions are separate, obviously, but emotions are much more powerful than our mind. And marketing people know this. Marketing people, advertisers, they know this. Right? This is why you'll see commercials and see things where they're triggering the emotional part of you, right? Excuse me. For instance, let me get some of my coffee. For instance, Janetta says, go be with her then. Yes, Janetta. Yes. So for instance, you'll see a new car, like the new Mercedes, or do Mercedes do, I don't know, do Mercedes do advertising? I don't think Mercedes do advertisement. I think they're one of those luxury brands where they don't even advertise. They just drop the thing and it is what it is. Anyway, a new car, right? A new car will come out. And on the commercial, it's usually a nice, well-dressed man in a nice suit, right? A nice, nice evening. The scene is so good. Right, he clicked a button on his remote control. He hop in the car. He press a button, and the car just drives. And he sits back, smoking his cigar as he cruises through the midnight. Right. So what this is triggering is an emotional response from the customer. Right. What kind of emotional response? That I could feel like that driving this car. I could feel like him in his car, right? I can look like him in this car. I want that lifestyle, right? Where I'm clean, right? All the women are looking at me, right? I sit in my car and I smoke my cigar. It makes me, I'm that big man. So anyway, a person is more likely to buy this car, no matter how much the car may cost, because of the emotions, because of how they're going to feel in this car. The same thing as it pertains to a relationship or anything, right? Our emotions are more powerful than our mind, than our thoughts, right? Think about some of the decisions you've made in your life out of emotions. Think about some of those decisions you've made in your life out of emotions, okay? We don't want to make decisions out of emotions, okay? You want to sit back, think it through, and then make your decisions. But what happens in relationships is your mind is telling you no, right? Your mind is telling you this is not the right relationship. I need to back out. But your body is saying, yes, this is good. He loves me, right? He loves me. You need to stay with him. Okay, your body is like, this is where we belong. This is love. This is what we need. We cannot let go. We cannot let go. So you stay in relationships that you know are not healthy for you. Your mind and your emotions are separated. Your mind and your emotions are separated, okay? So in relationships that are dysfunctional, you can know that the relationship is wrong, but you don't trust yourself to make the right decision. And why you don't trust yourself to make the right decision? Because there's so many conflicting emotions that are happening. Your mind is saying no, but your body is saying this is love. There's too much conflict going on. So you are a woman who are not self-aware. You're not aware of yourself. You haven't reached a point where you can trust your own decision making. You haven't reached a point where you can separate your emotions from logic. This takes time. This takes time, especially when you're so used to making decisions out of emotions. But in relationships, it's even harder, okay? Because now we got to go back to our subconscious. Now we have to go back to the way we were wired. We were wired to believe that this is love. The type of love that this man is giving me is love. Even though in this stage in my life, I know this is wrong, I stay in this relationship because my body, subconsciously, I'm convinced that this is love. That I'll be missing something if I let go. So number 3, women don't trust themselves enough to let go. Okay? They don't trust themselves to let go. Okay? So number 4, why do women stay in relationships when they know it's wrong? They have the wrong accountability. They have the wrong accountability. Who else just dropped in? Drop your name in the chat so I can see who came in. I see some others have came in. Now this one is very, very, very important, okay? Women stay in the wrong relationships that they know is dysfunctional is because they have the wrong accountability. They have the wrong accountability, okay? The wrong friends, the wrong family members in their ears, okay? We don't talk much about this, okay? But there's many women that'll stay in relationships because their friends is telling them, hey, it's better than having nobody. Girl, he loves you. Ain't nobody perfect. Girl, those side chicks are gonna fall off. You're his main chick. Or give it some time. Maybe he'll change. This man got a good job. This man takes you out every now and then. Every man gets upset and punch walls every once in a while. It'll go away. Give him time to change. The wrong people in their ear. Who is in your ear? Who is in your ear? Okay, we have a lot of Love and Basketball. Is that still the TV show Love and Basketball? A lot of these other TV shows that can continue to condition us in toxic ways, right? Toxic ways where toxic things are normal when they are not normal. It is not normal for a man to put his hands on you. It is not normal for a man to have I want to say a hissy fit, but that's disrespectful, or to have a temper tantrum and knock things over and punch walls and toss you. That's not normal. It's not normal for a man to call you all types of B words and all types of talk down on you. That's not normal. It's not normal for a man to say he's going to do one thing and always does the other. You can't trust this man. That's not normal. That's not healthy. That is not normal. But the thing is, this is strong. The issue is not only do we have toxic, intimate relationships, but we have toxic friends and family in our circle. So this is why it's hard for us to leave relationships that are dysfunctional. We have the wrong people in our ears. Who is in your ear? Who is always in your ear? What are you always watching as it pertains to relationships? on your Facebook, on your Instagram. Cardi B allowing Offset to cheat on her these many times and she still sticks with him. So now we believe that if a man cheats on me multiple times, he can still love me like Offset loves Cardi B. Because he's still with her. He just made a couple mistakes. That's not healthy. That's not something you should put up with. And even though they're still together, you don't know what's going on behind those closed doors. You have no idea. Just like with Tina Turner, right? I looked at her documentary, which I gotta share it with you guys. I'm probably gonna blog about it. Some of the issues I pulled out of her relationship. The world looked at that relationship, they thought it was healthy. He loved her. But she was getting her butt whipped behind closed doors. But all the world seen was the furs, the leather, the jewelry, the flashing lights, the pretty little kissy faces in the pictures. But behind closed doors, she was going through hell. Who is in your ear? So women stay in the wrong relationships because they have the wrong people in their ears. Okay? For me, in my relationship, my past relationship, my friend, she was a little bit too timid. Okay, let's talk about the other side, right? You can have friends that are dysfunctional, then you can have friends that are just not, they haven't reached that emotional state to make responsible decisions yet. Okay? This is where mentors come into play. This is where coaches come into play. This is where therapy comes into play, okay? People who are emotionally strong, okay? So for me, I had a friend that was a little bit too timid and naive, okay? So with her, when it came to that relationship, I would talk to her about the relationship and she would be just as confused as me. Just as confused as me. Okay? And her response would be, just give it some more time. Or maybe he'll change. Right? Or other friends. I had another friend who was who's married. And with her, she's been settling her marriage. There's some marriages, okay, that are staying together, but it's not together. They're not together out of, I want to say this respectfully, okay? But they're not together because of love. They're not together because they really love each other. They're together for other reasons, whether it's financially, which is some of the things that our grandparents would be. They would stay in relationships because, hey, this man is bringing home, he's taking care of the house and the family, so I can't leave, okay? So there's different reasons why people stay in relationships for years. It's not out of love. It's not because we love each other. It's not because we have this lasting bond. It's because we're together. This is a business deal. This is a business deal here. Okay, so with her, their marriage is based off of who knows what, but it's not healthy, okay? So in my mind, you know, when you really want something to work, you know who to go to get the answers that you really want to hear. Who toes am I stepping on? When you really want, you know what answer you really want to hear. So you get advice from people who's going to give you the responses that you really want. So I went to her, knowing daggone well that this girl is not in a healthy relationship, not in a healthy marriage. Not in a healthy marriage. So her response was, yeah, you know, maybe he wants to work, right? Let him work. Don't get in the way of him working. Don't get in the way of him working. He'll come around. Just wait around. He'll come around. Who is in your ear? Okay? Who is in your ear? You need at least one good, strong friend that knows you enough and who you can trust. Okay? who you can trust, okay? One strong friend, maybe if it's not a friend, a pastor that you can trust, a leader that you can trust, okay? Somebody that you can trust, okay? Not somebody that's going to give you, that's going to keep sweet talking you and telling you all the things you want to hear. You need someone in your circle that's going to tell you things that you don't want to hear, where it stings and it hurts, but you know it's for your good. The issue is we have so many yes ma'ams in our circles. We have so many people that are our friends out of convenience, or they're our friends just to be our friends. They're not going to tell us the truth because they don't even know the truth. For one, they don't even know the truth, right? They don't even know the right answers. You need strong accountability. So many people are stuck in relationships 10 years, 15 years, 20 years because even their mother is telling them, girl, that's a good man. I had a girl tell me, and this really disturbed me. I had a woman tell me on one of my, I was on one of my, what was I on? Because I take calls sometimes. I do interviews for my coaching programs to make sure that the women are a good fit. And one woman told me, my mom told me to just have a baby by him and it'll change everything. That's what she said. My mother told me, get pregnant by him and he'll stay. Who is in your ear? Who is in your ear? Just because they're your parents, that doesn't mean they're not dysfunctional. Just because they're your pastor doesn't mean they're not dysfunctional. Okay, I went there. And I may have to do a live on safe people. Okay, but the Bible tells us a lot about safe people. The Bible tells us how our leaders should be. It tells us how our pastors should be. I believe it's Timothy where it talks about the qualifications for a deacon and for a elder. It tells you how they should be. So if my pastor doesn't align up with this is not a healthy religious community that I need to be a part of. The Bible tells us how our parents should be. The Bible tells us about how our friends should be. It tells us, Proverbs 20, when it comes to friends, okay, let's stick with friends. I want a little bit off. Let's talk about friends. The Bible says in Proverbs 28:23, he who rebukes a man will, what is this? I can't read my own handwriting. Let's go to Proverbs 27:6. We're going to stick at that. Proverbs 28:23. It says, he who rebukes a man will find more favor than one who flatters with his tongue. He who rebukes a man will find more favor than one who flatters with his tongue. Okay? That means a person, one of my friends, a person who rebukes means to correct you, to guide you in the right direction, even when it's not something good you want to hear. This person finds favor than one who flatters with the tongue. That's someone who always is saying the things you want to hear, always giving you those sweet nothings, always saying, yeah, girl, yes. Yeah, girl, you look good, knowing you don't look good. Yeah, girl, stay with him. Y'all look good together, knowing it's messed up. They're flattering you to stay in good cahoots with you. That's not good. That's not a friend. That is not a friend. Proverbs 27:6 says, faithful are the wounds of a friend. Proverbs 27:6, the Amplified Version. Faithful are the wounds of a friend who corrects out of love and concern, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful because they serve his hidden agenda. So the Bible talks about the wounds of a friend, one, contrary to the kisses of an enemy. That means just because a person is always seems good, so nice, so gentle, so flattery, makes me feel good and all this good stuff, I gotta watch that. What is up with that? And the Bible is saying that this person has a hidden agenda. And people can be doing that because of what you may offer. Maybe you're a given person. Maybe you're successful, so they want to stay tied to you so they can be successful too. Whatever their hidden agendas is, okay? Whatever that hidden agenda may be. There's a lot of clout chasing nowadays with this internet and Facebook. There's a lot of clout chasing, okay? So it says, faithful are the wounds of a friend who corrects out of love and concern. But the kisses of an enemy are deceitful because they serve his hidden agenda. You need strong accountability, okay? So many women find themselves stuck in the wrong relationship because they have the wrong people in their ears that's encouraging them to stay in the relationship. They don't have anyone that's sensible, that's functional, that's safe in their lives, that they can trust. Or maybe they do, but they don't go to them because it seems like every time I go to this person for advice, they always seems judgmental. A person can seem judgmental when they don't say the things that you want to hear. A person can seem judgmental when they're not always telling you the things you want to hear. So you have to discern, because there's some haters. Like there are haters, right? That's just always throwing salt on your game, right? That's a hater. But a person who's saying you deserve better than this. I always, I could see you with someone a little bit better, but nevertheless, if it makes you happy, okay. But I could see you with someone better. You deserve better than this. This is a person who's correcting you. Who's correcting you out of love and concern. What is up with this? I want to see you happy, but I don't think this is the right man for you. Okay? So what a woman would do is she would take that information and she could do one or two things with it. She's single. The person who gave me this advice, she's a single woman, so I'm not going to take that advice because she's single and she don't know what she's talking about. Or two, they can say, this person loves me. This person never stirred me wrong before in the past. This person is living a good life. Why would they stir me in the wrong direction? You need strong accountability, okay? Many women stay in relationships that are dysfunctional because they have the wrong people in their ear, okay? Okay, understand that not everyone in your life is your friend, okay? There are very few friends, okay? Many are in your life for your assignment, okay? And I'm not going to go there. I have this in my notes because I was going there with friends. I was going there with friends, but let's keep going, okay? So these are 5 things that you need to have a healthy relationship, okay? So those are 4 reasons why people stay in dysfunctional relationships. So we can pull from those dysfunctional relationships and we can draw out 5 things that a person needs to have a healthy relationship. 5 things that you must have to have a healthy relationship. Number 1, you need wholeness, okay? We talked about that. This person should not be your everything. You need to be whole outside of the relationship, okay? That means I have joy, I have peace, I feel good outside of the relationship. I am not looking for the relationship to make me feel like myself. I feel good outside of a relationship. So you need wholeness, okay? You need healing, okay? We talked about the trauma bonds, like how women stay in toxic relationships out of a trauma bond, out of a trauma response, okay? That means that there's some unhealing, there's some healing that needs to happen. So you need healing, okay? Not saying you have to be 100% healed, okay? Because I do not believe that you have to have it all together before you have a healthy relationship. There's a part of your healing that's going to happen in a relationship, okay? But some healing does need to take place outside of a relationship, or else you're going to keep attracting people based off of your wounds. Based off of your wounds. This is why you see a woman who says, it feels like I keep attracting the same man with a different name. They're attracting men based off of unhealed wounds, okay? So you need wholeness. You need healing. You need self-awareness. That means you need to be able to trust yourself. You need to have been spent enough time with yourself where you know yourself. Many women don't know themselves. They don't know themselves. I'll tell you, I'm talking about like the simplest, the basic things. For me, I had to grow to learn myself, right? I never forget one day, I sat on my couch and I looked down on my ankles and I'm like, I got a lot of hair on my ankles. And I'm like, I never noticed I had all this hair on my ankles, right? So a lot of women don't know, they don't pay enough attention. They don't pay enough attention to themselves. Now that was externally, but I'm talking about even internally. You don't spend enough time with yourself to know yourself so that when something is wrong, you trust your own self to make the right decision. So you need to know yourself. You need to be self-aware, okay? Number 4, you need confidence. Confidence, okay? Confidence in making the right decision, okay? That's not number 4, that's number 3. So wholeness, healing, self-awareness, which builds confidence, okay? Those go hand in hand. Self-awareness and confidence are hand in hand, okay? And you need excellent accountability. Excellent accountability. And number 5, you need support. You need support. This is someone to embrace you and encourage you to keep going in the right direction. You need support, okay? You need support so that you keep looking forward, so you keep going in the right direction. So you need wholeness for a healthy relationship. You need healing for a healthy relationship. You need self-awareness or confidence for a healthy relationship. You need strong accountability for a healthy relationship. Somebody that you can bounce ideas off of, that know what they're talking about. Someone who has a healthy relationship already. Or someone who's an expert, who knows relationships, who study relationships. A counselor, a therapist, who specializes in that area. Not all counselors and therapists should be treated the same, okay? And you need support. You need support. Somebody in your corner. Somebody in your corner that's going to keep motivating you to keep going forward, to stick with this relationship. Okay? Someone who's for your relationship. Okay? Now, that's all I have for you all. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was beneficial. I want to share with you all about the Glowprint. The Glowprint community is a 6-month accountability group. So you'll get 1 out of the 5 things you need for a healthy relationship. Actually, you're not getting 1 out of the 5. You get a strong accountability. We go through wholeness. We go through healing. And you build your self-awareness and your confidence. And you get support. So you get all 5 of these things in the Glowprint community. You go through the process of becoming whole. You go through that process. Wholeness is developed through your relationship with God. You can't have wholeness if you don't have a relationship with God, a true relationship with God. I'm not talking about going to church on Sundays. I'm not talking about just listening to praise and worship as you drive to the grocery store. I'm talking about a real relationship with God. In Glowprint, you learn how to have a relationship with God, where you're not only reading devotionals, but you're creating your own devotionals. There's nothing wrong with reading devotionals, okay? But God wants devotionals comes from someone else's relationship with God. God wants to have his personal devotion with you. So in Glowprint, you learn how to have your personal devotions with God. You go through the healing process. The Glowprint has a 6-step healing process to receiving healing after heartbreak, okay? So you accelerate your healing process. You're not doing this your own. You're not guessing. You're not Googling. You're not YouTubing. All these things. You're going through this for sure healing process, okay? You're not suppressing your emotions, pretending it's not there. You're going through the healing process, okay? Self-awareness and confidence, okay? You learn about yourself in Glowprint. I take you through a process where you begin to search yourself, pull out those things about yourself, where you get to learn yourself. I encourage you to spend time with yourself, and I show you how to. I show you how to do that. One of the things that people always say about me is, you have really good self-awareness. It's because I've been single for years, so I don't even have time to spend time with myself, right? So I know myself, right? But because I spend time with God and I have this quiet time with God, and God began to tell me about me. He began to expose things about me that I don't even know is there. So I show you how to do that in Glowprint. You get to know yourself on a deeper level so that you learn to trust yourself. This is what builds a confident woman, a woman who has an intimate relationship with herself. She knows herself, so she can trust herself. She knows her strengths and her weaknesses. She knows her strengths and her weaknesses. Her weaknesses, she leaves them up to God, and her strengths, she leans on her strengths. She focuses on her strengths. Her focus is on where she's strong. This keeps her confident. Those areas where she's weak, whatever. Those are just my weaknesses, okay? Those are areas in my life where I need someone else, where I need relationship. And that's okay. That's the way life goes. We're not meant to know everything. We're not meant to have everything all together ourselves. We're meant to have relationships. So where I'm weak, that's where my healthy relationship comes in, where they balance my weakness, okay? And you have support, okay? You have a community, okay? It's myself, and there's 2 mentors in the Glowprint community, and you have other women there who are just as serious about their self-care as you are, okay? So I'll drop that here for you ladies who are looking to enroll. The coaching portion is about to be taken out because I'll be getting ready for my other program here for the winter time, the Ready for Love program. I know there's many women on the wait list for the Ready for Love program, so that'll be dropping here soon. So here I'm going to have to take away the live coaching from Glowprint. Okay? So if you're looking to work with me, this is your time. And you'll still be able to enroll in Glowprint at a later time. I mean, you can enroll in Glowprint anytime you want, but the live coaching will be taken away here soon. So you're actually getting less than what you would get if you enroll now. You'll get more for your money now, okay? So I encourage you ladies to join Glowprint. It's to help you, okay? A 6-month membership with the goal of accelerating your healing process after a heartbreak, which comes from a failed engagement, a breakup, or divorce, okay? It's a proven 6-step process that you go through month by month, doing the self-care, the self-work for a glowing you. You go from being disappointed from a relationship to glowing, okay? A glowing woman glows from the inside out, not from the outside in. A glowing woman glows from the inside out, okay? That's the true glow up, okay? All right, ladies, I am done. I look forward to hearing from some of you ladies, and I will talk to you soon.